Hey, my name is Ivy and welcome back to my channel. I was not planning on filming today. However, I am not going to miss an opportunity to do a video that I've been thinking about and I have seen other creators do, and I always really enjoyed those, which is what I do with my makeup or what I do with my face when I feel like shit. As you can imagine, there's a certain frequency of that, especially around this time of year as we go into colder months. I frequently find that our sun brings home some lovely cold or sniffle or illness, and it wafts through the house, and then one by one we all get taken down a peg or two. Even in these periods of times when I'm taking time off from doing my makeup because I feel absolutely horrendous, I still find that if I have enough energy to sit down and do my face, it does make me feel better, because mentally it starts to put me into a I'm getting better, I'm healing kind of mindset. So I thought I would show you what I do with my makeup when I am not feeling great. And it's kind of, I want to say, it's like the opposite of the video that I filmed where it was like about leveling up your makeup. For me, falling back into kind of comfy t-shirt, jean, cozy, basic bish makeup when I'm not feeling well is what I like to do. I like to do reliable things that I know are gonna make me look better. I don't like to mess around with a lot of like adventurous makeup. I like to just keep it simple. I like to hydrate my skin extra well because usually when I'm not feeling well, my skin feels extra dry. I just like to keep it basic. So if my like level up your makeup video wasn't for you, this might be for you. This might be your video. I'm just gonna do a little walkthrough of my makeup today that I'm gonna do to try to get me into a better feeling place. Hopefully it works out okay. And if that sounds good to you, definitely stick around through this video. I would love for your company as I get ready. So let's get into it. Okay, first things first, we are hydrating. I'm going in with the Phytosurgence Verdant Forcefield, but I'm actually gonna do a little more of it than I normally do. My skin has been feeling extra dry, not only because I've been feeling under the weather a bit, but also because I've been working on a new kind of skincare regimen in order to try and get my hormonal acne that I've been experiencing under control. So my skin is extra dry, extra sensitive, just like not feeling super great. This is extremely calming, extremely moisturizing, a go-to daily product for me, but especially when I'm not feeling well, I reach for it and I double up on my dosage. I'm also probably going to keep my brows a little bit lighter today. I have been experimenting a little bit with like doing them a little thinner some days. I find that playing around with making them a little bit thinner has actually been fun, and the fact that they are naturally sparse does give me the opportunity to play day to day with how thick I want to wear them or how thin I want to wear them. And I have been finding and noticing that sometimes when I do them a little thinner, it does help the eye makeup stand out even more. I love a good like thick structured brow. I just do. I don't think I'm ever gonna not love that, but I think it's totally fine and normal to be able to like play around with different shapes and just, you know, change it up a little bit. So I am gonna go a little thinner today, nothing crazy. It's like still me. I'm still gonna give them some structure, but we're not gonna go crazy today. So there's one brow done, as you can see. Obviously, still a huge difference between nothing and something, but I did do them a bit thinner than sometimes I do on a normal day. Also, a little bit faster, because on days when you feel like shit, even though you might want to spend a little time doing your makeup because it does help you feel better, you don't necessarily want to sit around and like doodle all over your face. You want to go and get rest. You want to lay down. You need to just get through your day. So anything that speeds up that process is always helpful. So doing less of a brow is not a bad thing. I wouldn't say they're exactly symmetrical, but I'm gonna get them a little bit closer. I think I just did this one a little bit thicker. It's just like eyeliner, you know, they're twins, or sorry, they're sisters, not twins. I just accept the fact that they're never gonna be identical, and also that's totally normal. But of course, it's easier to thicken one up than it is to thin one down once you've gone in that direction. Put on some brow gel. I'm just gonna call that good and say that we're good. My lips are extremely dry. I actually started feeling like maybe my lips had gotten some kind of a sunburn recently, like all over. You can tell I'm doing great. Doing great, right? Look great, sound great. But yeah, I think not too long ago my lips got some sort of a sunburn, and so they've been like chapped and kind of peeling. I've been trying to use very healing lip products recently just as I get them back on their feet. For lip balm while I do my makeup, I'm just putting on a little bit of this Laneige lip sleeping mask. This is in the flavor Ginger Snap, and it is like, it's like a pillow for the lips. It just feels really good and it smells great. And especially now that it's fall time, this flavor feels especially relevant. So I can already feel that, you know, because my skin has been on the drier side, that the extra dosage of the Phytosurgence Verdant Forcefield is doing its best. It's really already been drunk up by the skin, so I'm ready to apply my base products. This is probably the step of the makeup when I'm not feeling well that I like to actually spend a little more time on, because when I'm feeling sick, my skin just looks even more mismatched color-wise, has more spots. I just, you know, I'm paler or whatever it is. I have to spend a little more time on my skin because it's not at its best. So I'm gonna do 2 products today. I'm gonna use the Make Beauty Radiant Skin Tint, and this is like a very light coverage skin tint, but it's also super hydrating. So again, putting as much moisture into my skin as I possibly can. I'm just gonna put a little bit of that on my fingers and blend it in. This is not gonna be for coverage so much as it is for evening out my skin, giving more moisture to it, and just making it feel really cared for. And this product is great for that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that all over, make sure that it's blended out. All right, so that feels pretty good, and it definitely did. It just gave me a little bit more moisture and it evened things out a tiny bit. So next I'm gonna go in with another moisturizing product. I'm gonna use my concealer from Glossier. This is the Stretch Concealer. I have the shade G9, and this does have a decent amount of coverage. It's very buildable. So I'm gonna use that a little bit like a foundation, kind of all over my face and buff it in, but I'm gonna focus it mostly on the areas where I have all of these breakouts. All right, so hopefully that's decently blended. I will find out when I edit this if it is or not. So next I'm gonna go in with this concealer. I've shown you this a bunch of times. This is the Prisme Libre concealer from Givenchy. And again, I have the shade W110. So this is what I'm gonna use under my eyes just for a little bit more brightening. And I'm also gonna probably put just a dab of it on this very stubborn spot on my chin. I don't like to put on a lot of powder when I'm not feeling well because, again, I'm really trying to hydrate, not trying to set, and I'm not really worried about my makeup longevity since I'm probably going to be face down in a pillow half the time that I'm wearing it anyway. Sometimes it does help with just making sure that everything looks all cohesive and blended. Okay, so that's my general base done. Next, I'm gonna be going in with some powder. My Hourglass palette that I have that I use for a lot of everyday kind of just general usage. I'm using the illuminating setting powder just very loosely all over my face. I don't know why I closed this. I'm about to use it again because I'm actually gonna use the bronzer as well. So that's another thing that I definitely always do when I'm feeling not my best because I find that I look paler and more sickly when I'm not my best. I don't bronze every single day, but I will add bronzer when I'm not feeling my best because it does add life back into my skin and I, need that life. So that was a very slapdash application, but I just wanted to get something a little rosier onto my face so that I looked less ghostly. Okay, things are starting to come together. You might ask how much time and effort I put into my eyeshadow, which is my personal favorite part of my makeup, when I'm not feeling well? And the answer is very little. I keep it super simple. Sometimes I don't even wear eyeshadow. Even if I just want to do my makeup to make myself look and feel better, I will sometimes just do my base products, put a little blush on. Blush is a crucial step, as you'll see. Put a little mascara on and then really leave it at that. However, I feel like that would make for a super boring video because a lot of you here are eyeshadow lovers. And I do sometimes still do my eyeshadow when I'm not feeling well. So I am going to do that today. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to show you a little fall make your own color story BYOP that I made. I just shared this on Instagram and it is a little fall inspired, Halloween inspired, build your own palette. I am super happy with how this came together. It's just such a like fun, you know, I mean, it's for me, I would say it's a fairly like basic color story, but it's so pretty and it's just hitting all of the tones and the feelings that I want from a fall palette. I know there's a lot of beautiful fall palettes that are coming out right now. A lot of them are literally like hitting your inboxes in the next couple of days, but I decided to make my own perfect fall palette and I'm really happy with how it came together. I am going to, as you guessed it, keep it really simple. There's a shade in here from Copacetic Cosmetics that I received recently called Black Russian, and that's going to be the basis for the whole look because it actually is a very smoky kind of one and done shade that I think will be really perfect for when I'm not feeling well because it'll almost play into that like sickly, slightly red eye look, but in a cool way. And then maybe add some mattes and, you know, teeny bit more of shimmer. So we're gonna start with that. I'm just gonna lay it down with my finger first. So the shade is here, it's Black Russian. I would describe it as a blue-brown pigment with a lot of red in it that has these really beautiful like pinprick sparkles running through it. And it's extremely creamy and blendable. It's very emollient. You'll see that once I sort of lay down a base layer and start to blend it out, and you really see that red come through, how it just brings out the redness that you might think you'd want to hide. Again, the easy thing to do would be to say, well, I don't want to show that my eyes are red, or I don't want to show that I look like I haven't been sleeping or whatever. I find doing the opposite really helps. Like leaning into that aesthetic and not trying to fight it so hard ends up making your makeup look more natural and fitting with how you're feeling. If you try to fight that battle, you're really just going to lose. So like you might as well lean into the dark under eye circles and just like let it live. So I'm just kind of blending that out into my crease and even up to under the brow bone. I'm just taking more of a small pencil brush because I'm going to bring that same shade under my eye. All right, so that's one eye with just the shade Black Russian kind of all over. I'm going to go and mimic that on my other eye as well. Okay, so that is both eyes, again, with just a layer of that shade Black Russian. I'm just gonna take my makeup sponge from before and just kind of pat away a tiny bit of fallout. I'm not gonna worry too much about it. This is, again, a very like loose, messy look. You know, it definitely feeds into some of the like, I'm feeling shitty look. It's making it more glamorous. It's like a glamorized version of I feel like shit. I like that, and I feel like this shade is like the perfect shade to do that. Okay, so now I'm just gonna go in with a matte shade just to kind of deepen up the outer corner a little bit, make it a little bit more intentional. While I love a one and done shade, and there are so many times where I definitely do that, especially when I'm not feeling well, for the purposes of this video and showing you what I would do when I'm really not feeling well, but I need to show up, this is probably what I would do. So if I'm being 100% honest, this is probably where I would leave it if I was just doing my makeup on today without filming, but because I'm filming it, I feel like I do need to add at least one more little thing. But I'm just letting you know that other than putting on mascara and blush, this is probably where I would leave this makeup today. But we're gonna add one more thing because we're here, so why not? So this shade is an extremely vibrant, glittery, beautiful yellow iridescent shade. It's called Citrine Sunbeam or Sunbeam Citrine. I forget which order it's in, but it's from the brand Quicksand Cosmetics. It's a indie eyeshadow brand, very, very small on Etsy. The owner makes beautiful, beautiful shadows, and this is one of the best ones that I've tried. I love it. It's extremely sparkly, and so I want to use it super duper duper sparingly today, but I am just going to take a smidgen of it in my inner corner for a little bit of sparkle. This is like a Kapow shade, so if I really go ham, I can make it quite impactful, but I just don't want to go crazy. That's not really how this look is vibing anyway, but I feel like adding a little bit of brightness on my inner corner does help bring life to my face, helps bring a little bit of dimension to the eyes. So that's all I want to do. I just want to tap it. I am going to probably have some glitter fallout. I did not put on primer. That's another thing that I just like never do when I'm not feeling well. Just kind of fade some of those sparkles out a little bit more, a little bit of brightness, just for fun. And that's where I'm going to leave the eye look. I'm going to put on mascara, and then we're going to do blush and lips, and then we'll be out of here. Okay, that is eyes done, and I am noticing just a bit more breakup in my base makeup than I'm used to seeing. I do attribute all of that to just the changes in my skincare routine and the fact that I'm kind of used to doing my makeup a certain way, and I think I need to make some more adjustments given how my skin is reacting to these products a little bit. So I'm not super happy with the state of my under eyes right now, but I also just like cannot be bothered to just go back and redo them and fix them. So I'm gonna leave it, and if anything, maybe it plays into the theme of when you're feeling like shit, just do what you gotta do and move on. But I am gonna add blush, and today I'm gonna be using the shade Inferno from Phytosurgence. This is a really beautiful terracotta kind of smoky red. I mean, I would put it in the red family, and it really does look like it kind of matches / goes with the vibe of Black Russian. I thought that would be a really nice shade to put on. I'm gonna go pretty high and into the temple with it, just to kind of make sure that it's blending really nicely with the eyeshadow. And one thing that I am not afraid to do when I'm not feeling well is go a little bit heavier with blush. Obviously, I don't want to look like a clown, but I feel like it's going to blend into my skin. It's going to melt into my skin anyway and become more natural as I wear it throughout the day. It just gives my, overall skin like a bit more life. And that's just what I need when I'm not feeling well. So I am not going to go skimpy on the blush. But also, if I do really go too heavy-handed, you can just always go back in with your makeup foundation brush or your sponge. So I'll just actually like tap my sponge over this. As you can see, I now look like I have some life in my face, which is very exciting. So as I mentioned, my lips have kind of been not in the best place right now, and I did put on that lip balm. I'm just gonna keep it simple today with a gloss. This is the shade, I think it's called Sangria from Merit. I really love their lip glosses, or their like lip slick oils, whatever they're called. And this is such a beautiful fall color. It'll come off my lips in like 2 seconds, but that's totally fine. Because again, when you're not feeling well, you gotta kind of play to your strengths and know where your weaknesses are. I'm not worried about my lips or my lipstick or whatever I have on my lips. I'm not worried about it lasting. I just want to give them a little bit of pigment and have them be comfortable. I think with that, we are done with the makeup, and it is actually, at the end of the day, I would say this maybe isn't too far off from a typical look that I would do. However, it's really the way that I mentally approach my makeup when I'm not feeling well that I wanted to share with you, which is like, I do spend a little more time on my skin. I do try to perfect the look and glow and color of my skin a little bit more. I spend a bit less time on my eyeshadow, and I keep my lips really comfortable. And that's kind of my ethos for when I'm sick. I want to spend a little time making myself feel better, and even just the act of applying my makeup kind of normalizes how I'm feeling. It's those days when I put nothing on that I end up feeling the worst, because I just look at myself and it reiterates for me mentally, like, you're sick, you're sick, you're sick. If I sit down and I, put a little bit of time in, and then I look at myself later, I'm like, you know what, you're fine. You're getting better. You're fine. You're fine. Also, yes, I have makeup all over my hands every time I do my makeup. That's how it happens. Anyway, so I hope that you enjoyed this video. I do apologize that the energy is a little bit low, but you know, I obviously it's on theme, so hopefully that works out. But I just want to say that I appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of this channel. If you're here, I am very grateful for you. And that if you did enjoy this video, please do give it a like before you leave it and subscribe so that we can hang out in more future videos. I cannot wait to see you there, and hopefully I will see you in the next one. All right, talk to you soon. Hope your day goes better than mine. All right, bye.